how's it going, Capricorn community? Soul Tigers here with a special story for this wonderful frequency. First off, before I get this story started, I want to say thank you for your patience as I had to extend my leave 1 extra month due to some medical stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with this story. Life will have a way of always throwing a curveball at you. It's not to hit you with something bad, Capricorn. It's to help force you into moving differently. As stubborn as you are, Capricorn, this could be hard to see, especially when you hold on to keeping everything the same. Remember, Capricorn, survival of the fittest comes down to how they can adapt to the change, both around and within. All right, so this is gonna be it. So there's something here happening. We have someone else. So we have a situation that's involving 3 people. We have something that's not happening, not being able to take a break. Out of one of these 3 people, somebody has a narcissistic energy. It's definitely about them. They want to make it all about them. Everything has to be about them. Something here with pets. Be on the lookout for these pets, I'm hearing to say. Whether it's your pets, somebody else's pets, there could be a pet out there that just kind of needs your help really quick, even if it's just to help somebody in letting you walk their animal for them, I'm hearing to say, or maybe even getting their pet a treat, or maybe they could be using their pets against you. There's always 2 sides to every coin. Something you don't see and you're very confused on, it's intimacy. Do you have intimacy with one of these others? Or has the intimacy faded and now here comes a party? Maybe there's something here with the pets where they're going to be using the pets against you, like I mentioned. Something else we're not seeing is somebody is spying in, trying to find reasons to dissuade whatever's happening when it comes to a higher energy overseeing this situation. I mean, outside looking in, if I was to dive into any kind of love tarot stuff, this looks like there is a divorce that's happening. Somebody could have been cheating. Somebody could have been going on a lot of work ventures, and they are trying to pin the blame on the other person, and they're going to use pets as like leverage. Also, it could be kids involved, even though this doesn't have children here. I don't think this deck really reflects children in there, and I say children could be the pets in a sense, because if you've ever raised children, they're like wild exotic animals and they cost just as much. So there's a little bit of something going on here, though. Definitely has to do with somebody who's egotistic. Has to do with somebody spying on somebody else because they're doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing. On the other side of it, you feel left out. Whatever this divorce is, it was forced. It was something that this Capricorn didn't have a choice in. And this could come down to a lot of different things. There could be a separation that's happening, not just with 2 people who were partnered together in a relationship of, like, say, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife. This could be even a little bit of a different dynamic where there's some kind of parting with you and another person that is happening. Now this spying, I would be careful with this spying, because this means whoever this narcissistic energy is, who feels like they have the final say so in things, they are looking for any reason to bring any kind of evidence against you. Could have been trying to prove that you were cheating, whether with somebody or on something. You could be cheating, paperwork, it could have been something like that. But what I'm hearing to say is, because there's so much vagueness, usually when somebody is pointing the finger in a lie at somebody else, that usually means they're up to no good, and everything they're trying to point at you about is something that they're doing. May not be to that extent, but it may be something else that's different. So be careful, be careful. I'm hearing, just take your time with things. Really mind your P's and Q's when it comes to different things. Making sure you are reading through things thoroughly. All right, so that's a lot to come out. Oh my goodness. The curveball. This is this curveball. Something has to change here. It can't be continuing the same. That's what this is about. So let's go ahead into the present moment. Definitely when it comes to this divorce, you have somebody who's been really working hard on this partnering, or this parting of this partnership. There we go. I'm hearing that's enough. And this is a magician here. This is somebody who could come in dressed in a suit. Could be a lawyer that's lying. That's what I'm hearing to say. They look good, but their intentions are somewhere else. With this energy going within. Something here about going within. And it was quite interesting, because when I was cleansing this card out, the Hermit card was in reverse. When the Hermit card is in reverse, it talks about trusting others. When it's in upright, it talks about trusting your intuition, that inner wisdom, that inner guidance from a higher belief, the light. So right now, in order to combat whatever this magician, whoever this false person is, you have to really go within and sift through everything that you're feeling. Follow your higher guidance on things at this moment. Because right now, what you're not seeing and you're at odds ends with, and this is you trying to keep everything the same, is there's an awakening happening. An awakening, something that's being searched for. And again, it's having to go into higher beliefs. Where you've been at has not been in a place of very high vibrations. And so you have a situation that you can't seem to get out of. We have a Page of Pentacles. Again, this could have to do with younger energies. Like I said, you have the pets here, which to me could translate into children, adolescents, somebody who can't make choices for themselves, followed with the Moon energy. There's stuff being done at night, I'm hearing to say. Something was happening at night that could have involved this younger one. You were very close to whoever this younger one is. And then we have embarking in reverse. This is very interesting right here, because I've never had these three extra cards come out all at once. And so we have embarking in reverse, searching in reverse, and awakening in reverse. So like I said, with the vibe, there's definitely having to do something different than before. Maybe before you used to race off a lot, get stuck and stubborn in how you thought about things. But at the same time, it left you only picking up sticks. sticks to try and build a shelter, sticks to try and keep your shelter together, to try and keep out the things that you really didn't want to let in. But what I'm seeing is those things still got in. They still had their influences. And those times that those things had their influences and things were starting to spiral out of your control, I'm hearing to say, Capricorn, was the moments for you to start waking up and picking your head up and knowing that you had to make moves then. But because the moves weren't made then, now everything is kind of out of your control. And now you're dealing with somebody who's playing both sides, somebody who's rooting against you, somebody who really wants to help force this apart. This person, they could be the worst of the worst, but it's also somebody who's going to bring in a really big awakening for you, Capricorn, if you choose to wake up from the slumber that you've been sleeping. I mean, if you stood stubborn trying to keep everything the same, then you were asleep to the lessons, to the signs that were coming in that asked you to get up and move. And a lot of these lessons could have been emotional stuff. And I've always mentioned this because I've noticed this with Capricorns, is Capricorns really deem themselves weak when it comes to trying to deal with things and their emotions. So opposed to confronting the fear that they have about feeling things, they would rather climb the cliffs to get away from how they feel about things. And I think this is why this moon card's here, is because whoever this has to deal with when it comes to others who don't have a choice, these younger ones, it's learning how to, what I'm hearing is move through them in a sense to help you start to take the steps to get to higher beliefs. What do I mean by this? Sometimes I talk with my clients about how certain events come into our lives, no matter how detrimental they are, how they could rock us to our core because they're so traumatizing, that these events are meant to propel us into other directions, maybe directions where we find a bigger purpose, where we help out others, where we can lend that wisdom we gain from being in those situations to others who are stuck currently in those situations. And this could be something here for you, but first you have to confront your emotions in order for you to have that awakening. But when you have that awakening, I tell you what, you're going to bring in a new kind of stability and groundedness into your life that you have never experienced before. Because right now you've worried about a lot of others and what others are telling you, how others feel, to validate yourself. And this is why a narcissistic energy was able to take so much hold of you during that time of whatever this was. Now, is that narcissistic energy around? It could still be around, or you could still have an open door to it. But a lot of times when we have a narcissistic energy around, we give that person the power to make decisions for us because we don't feel like we can stand up for ourselves. And maybe this is something here for you to learn as well. All right, so let's call in our angels of protection. All right, angels of protection, please help, guide, and keep us safe as we navigate the shadow side here. Ooh, interesting. For the Capricorn community. Oh my goodness, wasn't expecting that. These cards are coming out every which way. I'm sure you see all of this. Oh my gosh. You have been put through the ringer when it comes to a lot of different things coming your way. Things that are piling on top of another, and it could be waiting for certain judgment to come in. Now, something that you're at the distance with, two things you're at a very big distance with. Big distance with, you want to put down, but you don't know how to stop investing in this, especially when it comes to how you think about things. It has to deal with this King of Presents. And you know what's crazy is we had this Empress fall out onto this narcissistic energy right here. Empress is usually considered a really good parent. She's very nurturing. She's very caring. She handles a lot of different things in her kingdom. She is looked at as an example for others. And then this King of Presents is a really good provider. But I'm feeling this is the narcissist here, whoever this is. The one who shows up every once in a while and likes to see what they can get. See how much they can get, how big they can get, what it is that they can hold that will be theirs. Maybe it's a lot of things that you have to do for them in order to captivate their attention. And maybe that's hard for you, Capricorn, because maybe they only live through that kind of attention when it comes to showing you any kind of intimacy. But let's keep going. So definitely a lot of conflict in the emotions, a lot of conflict on how to keep things together when it comes to your home environment. The Wheel of Fortune here, it's hard to see anything changing for you anytime soon when it comes to things turning out more positively with you. Right now, you feel like things are really out in the cold. You feel very unloved when it comes to past partnerships that you reflect on. And it even pulls into question the partnerships that you have now with people, places, and or things. It's a lot of lost control, something that you can't hold on to. There's something here that really pulls at you maternally. And it really influences this negative view onto things. It really influences a depressing mood for you as well. The Chariot, stuck, hard to move. Nothing feels balanced. I feel like you don't feel like you're being heard right now with anything through the events that have happened, the windfall of events that have happened to you the past months. You really don't feel like anybody looks at you the same. I would say nobody looks at you as somebody who has things together. And there's a lot of deceit. A lot of deceit around this younger energy, whoever they are. This Magician plays a lot of games. They're actually a King of Candles. King of Candles is really worried about himself. Really into corruption, I'm hearing to say. It's always about the win for them, but not for whoever they're representing, I'm hearing to say, so be careful. Nine of Presents, yeah, this person is really invested into what they can make off of this. Two of Presents. 2 to the 3 of Presents. Be careful. Like I said, you need to do your research. Whatever they're going to do when it comes to a decision being made, they're definitely going to point some kind of finger at you when it comes to how you're connected with others with this Two of Potions, aka Two of Cups. And it could be that they're trying to play these mind games on you, or they're going to deem something with you that's, you're going to be some kind of unfit. And it's going to come down to mental stuff. A lot of mental stuff here. This is a really, really hard situation. I think this is why you got to get up and you got to create movement. Something here that you need to do research on when it comes to these energies, especially whoever this is that is this ill magician. This person in this suit that's going to help force things apart. I would honestly do probably a little bit of research on them. See what their MO is, see what it is when it comes to different stats that represent them, I would say, because they're really, really, really going to put you through the ringer when it comes to who you are and could be your reputation. They could possibly be saying that you were too busy doing your own thing with others, and that you could have been neglectful of some things. It's definitely, they're doing their research on you, and I feel like you need to do your research on them. Because if it's going to be a mudslinging kind of competition here, where they're going to really, like I said, try and diminish your character, then I would say you doing research on them, what they're about, however it is that represents them. This is going to help you, because this isn't the first time this person's done this. And I think this is why this is being brought up right now, because you feel like you're in a very helpless situation that is creating a lot of depression around you. But what you don't see is the things that are all in the cracks that this person tries to hide. The things that they've hidden in these cracks. That's what I keep saying, because their foundations of whatever their argument is very cracked. It's not solid. But if you stay asleep to this and you don't start facing these fears and your emotions and creating this movement, whatever this is could fall into this person's cracks. So be careful, be careful, be careful. Do what you need to do. Go within and follow that higher guidance. Even if somebody thinks that you're crazy, even if they're pointing the fingers and saying that you're wrong. I mean, look at what I'm doing here. I'm not doing this to gain any kind of celebrityness. I'm not doing this to go viral. I'm not doing this to try and make a buck. I do this because this is somewhere I was guided. This is something that I was told I should do by higher up energy. And when I was in contemplation of this starting, many of the signs had came in telling me that I need to start talking about stuff. I need to start taking what I've learned and putting it out into the world any way that I can. So you will have these pulls with your intuition, your inner guidance, that will make it hard for other people to understand, especially if you're not going for what they're going for. But follow that guidance, because you never know where it's going to lead, and you never know what you're going to learn. Since I started embarking on this journey a couple years already now, I have learned so much when it comes to dealing with different people, their energies, but also different life stories and, different ways of dealing with it. Because like I said, all these positive messages that come out, this guidance is not all me. Some of this stuff I would never even think about when it comes to giving the positive messages. So guidance comes in many, many different ways. You just have to learn how to tune in and have that faith. Ooh-wee. I hope you tune in, Capricorn, and I hope you start to wake up and make those moves right here, because you don't want somebody making a decision for you at this time that you had no say and no part in. Oh my goodness. So it feels like almost like a life-changing decision's gonna come about here. All right, so let's get to the conclusion. All right, divine and universal energy. What are the positive messages you have here? Oh, I love that. For the Capricorn community, I believe it says resistance or resilience, one of the two. So many of these cards have been coming out like this. This is like the first time that these have really done this multiple times in one story. All right, so one more I'm hearing. What is the last one? What is the last card? There is our last card. Wow, at the biggest distance here. Something that you're at the biggest distance with. It has to do with unexpected events that have to do with others that you are close with. Things that are making you feel impatient. Right now, it's the time to practice the most patience on and observing from the view that you have what is happening, opposed to rushing off when it has to do with this other. And I'm not talking about the narcissist. I'm talking about whoever this other energy is, the younger one that you care about a lot. Darkness. You have to open your eyes to the light. That is the way that you're going to be able to sift through this darkness, especially when it comes to the depressing energies that seem to be surrounding you right now. There's a certain hunger here that we need to fortify a good relationship. Now that hunger, you're going to have to meet in a calmness. That hunger, you're going to have to sit with yourself in your emotions and start to fill out. The hunger is not one of food. The hunger is one of wanting to do something. That hunger of, I'm not just going to let you make all the decisions for me without me getting up and doing my best to do what I need to get done. We have this resistance here, like I was saying. Resistance, resistance, resistance. This can go one of two ways. You can resist your emotions and you could stay asleep, or you could resist staying asleep and letting other people dictate your life for you. You have to get up. Have to get up. Right now, you feel like you're without, and you feel like nothing good is happening. Nothing good will ever happen. And this really sounds weird, but we need you to be grateful. Because being grateful in the midst of feeling like you have nothing, honestly, could really show you how much you really have. There may be a loss in one way here, but there could have been an even bigger loss if you look at it. Something here happened. This curveball happened for a reason. And if you actually take a dive down and you look at the trajectory of things, if things would have kept happening as they were without this curveball coming in, could things have ended up worse? Could you be doing some kind of other planning that was going to force this departure, but it's more of a detrimental kind of thing? Yeah. Sometimes, like I said, the divine steps in and throws these curveballs at us to help us. So how can we be grateful for right now, even though it feels like we have nothing to be grateful for? A beginning. Again, sometimes we go through really big traumatic events to help wake us up into another purpose, to drive us into being able to make a difference, to change things. And right now, something is you have to release. I feel like you have to release whatever character, that they're trying to build you up to be. You need to put that down aside and you need to go within. And we need to start figuring stuff out. Bringing some type of peace to your mind at this moment because you are overworked. What is it that can bring you some peace? How can you reflect on your journey and see that it wasn't one that was easy? How can you sit back, and even though you're at a time you're not very proud in your life, how can you sit back and look at the many things that you have overcame with others that have made you proud? All of that stuff has taken work to get out of those situations. This one is a little bit different, and it's even more out of your control than any time before. But just like before, you're able to do it. You're able to move. You're able to go to different places. How can we start to explore our inner selves to help bring peace to the energies that it feels so chaotic within? We do that by stopping, reflecting, but also bringing in that self-love. Making sure to take care of yourself. Just because your success doesn't look like the same as others doesn't mean that you didn't spend a lifetime working your butt off, Capricorn. And because of this curveball, this inevitable events that are happening shouldn't make you feel less. If anything, it should help you want to rise up stronger, to defend what is yours, to defend the things that you need to defend. But in doing that, you're gonna have to learn some new routines. You're gonna have to learn different ways of taking care of yourself. I feel like a lot of it has to do with your emotional side and your mental side. And I feel like if you're able to stand up to whatever this is and create this resistance when it comes to things being out of your control, you're going to be able to pick up a new strength for yourself. A strength that when it comes to dealing with situations that are out of your control, you're going to be able to conquer. And when it comes to energies that are being dishonest, energies who are playing tricks because they have their own agendas up their sleeve, you are going to know how to handle this, because guess what? You already dealt with the situation where you had to search up and look for the higher meaning. You had to confront your fears when it came to the emotions. To sit here and have an awakening. It's amazing because you'll have many different situations come at you through your lifetime, and they will involve the very people that you love, the very people that you don't want to see hurt, the very people that make you feel helpless when they're in situations that you can't control, you can't help. And it's when we go through these situations, we start to awaken, we start to see who we are, we start to learn about who we are in this phase. So don't give up. Don't give up, and start to create that movement. Start to wake up. Start to question those fears that you have in your emotions, and start to create that movement. Research, research, research. Just as much as they're researching on you, you need to research on them. Look at what their record is when it comes to whoever this magician is. Ooh, this was a doozy of a story. I hope this helps so much, Capricorn. Don't give up. You got this. And remember, the divine doesn't give you a load that you can't handle. So right here, right now, you already have the divine's faith in you that you can overcome this, and that you can head in the direction that the divine needs you to head in. All right, so this is going to conclude it. Don't forget to thank your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy for coming on in and helping out. And as always, I hope that you have a most wonderful rest of your day.